All right, guys. Today we are gonna be reacting to she accused Andrew Wilson of not being a real man. Let's jump in.
You spoke on that earlier, and I actually had a comment.
What you got?
There is a stigma behind domestic violence where you say the majority of the men get arrested, and sometimes they're not the cause of the domestic dispute. But
that's called the Duluth model.
Right, but yeah. I didn't want it to deter people in this scenario, like men, from calling the police, because sometimes you have police that do their due diligence to find out who is the aggressor.
Yeah, I feel like
if a man is calling the police,
you don't know. You don't know how that's gonna go.
I actually do, because I have a really close friend that actually dealt with domestic abuse, and just like police, they go on the scene, they speak to both parties to figure out who the aggressor is. They'll check your hands to see if you've hit something. Sure. They'll check your body to see if you have bruises, and then obviously my friend had bruises on her arms, and that kind of showed him even holding a woman back.
It's not a guarantee that the guy's going to get arrested.
It's not.
It is a risk that men have to think about that women don't.
For sure, but if she were to hit, how she did her boyfriend and his nose broke, and he called the police immediately. If once they pulled up on the scene and seen that his nose is broken and she's looking gorgeous as ever, they're gonna see that she was the aggressor, and the law is gonna take and do what they're supposed to do.
So this is what you're talking about is based on the state you're in too. So some states are, if there's a DV call, someone's going to jail no matter what. Right? They actually have additional laws which say if we show up for a DV call, someone's going to jail regardless. Right? It doesn't even matter. Someone's going right to jail.
Yep.
So the biggest problem with the current DV laws, how they stand, is like things like assault and battery and things like that, they're already illegal. You don't actually have to create additional DV laws for these things because they're already crimes. So what happened with the additional DV laws is they said, well, women need additional protections from big, strong men, right? That's the idea here. But what has happened as a side effect of that is then police show up and the man ends up going to jail, even if he didn't do the DV. And we know this because in the States, where they don't have this Duluth model, they take women to jail for DV more than they do men. And so the additional DV laws are actually kind of unjust in this way.
It's called a restraining order. If anyone, especially under like the age of 25, getting domestic violence and stuff like that, restraining order.
Just one sec, I do have 2 chats coming through. Woman in chair 6 makes no sense whatsoever. She's the queen of double standards in this panel. Andrew, how do you argue and debate without losing your shit? And then
Well, the thing is because he doesn't take it personal. That's what it is. That's what I think. That's what I receive from him. He doesn't take it personal.
I like having these.
I just.
Well, to answer to the chatter, I like having these conversations with people. I understand that sometimes I say things that seem wildly offensive, but I don't really think they are. I think I'm just kind of logically deducing what a person thinks and why they think it and telling them why I think it. Other people get offended quite often, but they really shouldn't. Like Chair 1 was making good arguments. Chair 1 was like, well, wait a second, Andrew, let's test your logic on this. What happens in a scenario where blah, blah, blah happens? I'm like, that's a good argument to engage with. Now we can get to the bottom of each other's worldview. So you don't have to shut down during the argument and just be like, well, I never, clutch your pearls and go, how could he say so? It's like we're just trying to figure out what is and isn't true. And if we're discussing these topics, I think that's fine to do.
We have 3 more chats coming through. We have a TTS here from Foreign Gaming.
Foreign Gaming 718 donated $200.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Is not age or strength. Just keep your damn hands to yourself. Why would the weaker person just get away with it? A 16-year-old has a gun, can he shoot Brian and Brian not shoot back cause he's stronger?
Good argument. Good argument. That's a logical argument right there. Oh, what happened? That's a good argument.
Of course not. This would be, again, this comes back to the idea of having to, so when me and Chair 1 were arguing back and forth, I was making this argument back, right? So you'd have to graduate the level even compared to agency. So like, if this would be the same thing with an orangutan. Let's say an orangutan picked up an AK-47. It doesn't know what it's doing. It doesn't have agency, but it'll instantly create a justification for you to take down the orangutan because it could shoot you with this AK-47, and it's like you don't want to. It doesn't have agency. It doesn't know what it's doing. It doesn't mean to. That really doesn't mean anything ultimately, though, because it still is holding an AK-47, right?
We have two more chats here. We have Jeff Bader. Andrew never once in this entire exchange did he explicitly say that the man should.
Never.
No, it did.
Never, but that's what they're thinking, because he's challenging their worldview, so they take that as offensive. Then they want to try out and see Andrew's worldview, but they're getting challenged and they take it personal. So for them, personal means that you're challenging my worldview, therefore this is what you're meaning, when he never said that he's okay, that man should. He's only arguing for the wood. So
Never did, not even once.
All right.
I'm just testing the logic of why it would not be appropriate to do so if somebody was who's just, if the argument is just, well, they're weaker, so they should just be allowed to hit you. That seems like it's creating a social order in society where some people have privilege over other people.
We have Lucas here. Hey, Lucas, good to see you in the chat, man. Holy shit, this woman is the apogee of female narcissism and entitlement, and noticed she used the classic feminist trope, a real man. You have no credibility to define a real man.
I do have credibility to find for a real man. My dad's one. What do you mean?
This will be a good segue. Okay, can I tell a woman what to do, not to do? Right? Can I tell a woman what a real woman is?
And I've had great examples of real men, and the real men around me wouldn't be saying things the way that you say.
So you're saying Andrew's not a real man?
Are you saying hypothetically speaking? What's your definition?
Man, the gaslighting. This is gaslighting, good folks. Answering a question with another question is just a way of deviating responsibility from the answer. That's what she's doing right now. Very, very classic in the world of sales.
Of a real man. A real man, I'm not talking about a robot. I'm talking about morality.
You're the one who said real man.
Somebody being real. Somebody being real. I'm from New York.
Real?
We say, yeah, you're very
slapping
real.
somebody be back?
New York. Oh, I'm tough. Man, get the hell out of here.
Keeping it real?
Yeah, I'm keeping it real
I'm
right
keeping
now.
it real.
Exactly, I'm keeping it real. A real man keeps it real.
Yeah, slapping somebody back.
Yeah.
She slaps you, slap her back.
Sure.
Keeping it real. I can't keep it real.
Keeping it real is with
Keeping it real.
it's immorality.
No, keeping it real is the way she's seeing it and the way she wants it to be. New Yorkers are weird, man, because New Yorkers are tough from the outside, but they let their city be run by stupid people, man. It's weird. What they consider tough, because I used to live in New York, and my wife is from New York. What they consider for tough is just basically fear. They're just fearful. They just fear the environment, so they have to act tough. They're not tough on her. Nothing.
Whatever you guys are saying ain't
When
it.
keeping it real goes wrong.
It's not it.
Well, like for instance,
It's not it.
I agree with you that there has to be some nuance here. Let me give you some examples.
It's not okay for anyone to hit anybody. I know you didn't say that, and I didn't say that. Wasn't my point.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Okay, well, I can give you some examples of where I think that, of course, men grant nuances for this all the time, for this social privilege, and probably we should. So here's a good example of this. My wife has had a terrible dream before, like just a horrible dream, and woke up kind of disoriented, right, and upset, and has struck me. It has happened, right? Now, it's like a strike to the arm, and I kind of laugh about it. I kind of giggle about it, right, because it's just silly. And she'd had some kind of like a bad dream that I was out cheating on her or something like that, because women have insane dreams like that all the time. That's how it works. So the thing is like, am I just going to be like, oh, I just turn around and just whoop the shit? No, of course not. Of course not. That would be silly, right? But there's a difference there in intent. There's a difference there in intent. And if you're talking about intent, you're talking about intent to hurt. If a woman balls her fist and is punching you in the face hard as she can, there's an intent there to hurt you. And for some reason, I don't want to create a social class where that they have impunity from that on the spot, where the stronger person, because they're victims and are stronger, just have to be victims. That's insane to me. Makes no sense.
Destroy. There you go. So she only has something to say when you're talking. Something that I noticed about her. She only has something to say when she's talking, because she's not listening. New York. I mean, I don't know what they use. I'm from New York. Man, who cares that you're from New York? worse. You lack emotional intelligence, I guess. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you in the next one.